Hello everyone, Anina back for Vivid Earth. How's everyone doing? Let me know in the comments how your week was. This was for me quite a crazy week. The energies were super crazy. Can't think of another word right now. And my golly, people have just, embarked on all sorts of social media wars this week and media wars. So yeah, it's been quite a week, guys. But I want to say it's over, but it's not really over because we're heading into a full moon next week, and then we're basically in eclipse season already. So we're going to be having two eclipses between March, is it 15th? I forgot to look now. And April, there's two eclipses. Remember, we had the massive eclipse last year in April. That was actually a massive timeline shift. If you will remember, things shifted quite a bit after that. And eclipses are typically, giving us that opportunity. Not saying it's driving everything, but it's giving us the opportunity to shift or jump timelines. And I believe we're having another one happening, very soon. And in fact, it's happening all the time. I don't know, even I could sense a timeline shift this week. It became very apparent that the two polar opposites of the scale started drifting further apart, and people became, almost deranged about their point of view. And while sort of tensions were rising around the war in the U country and the R country that is just so terrible, and um, yeah, it's just media propaganda all over again, and people just don't want to hear. So I found myself in a little bit of a Facebook, I don't know what you want to call it, just an unfortunate event where I was trying to sow some seeds, waking people up, and it just didn't work. And I just realized, and I think maybe you realize this as well, that, you know, the time for waking people up, the time for trying to convince people to come over to the side of truth is over. It's done. Okay. So I want to encourage you to do what I did, and that is simply to walk away. Don't get into debates, don't get into anything, because if you take the 40,000 foot view, you can see that there's a splitting happening now, and we like not speaking the same language anymore. The story of Babel comes to mind. When they said suddenly people were not speaking the same language anymore and they couldn't understand one another, and that's when the sort of division in humanity happened in a way. But perhaps was that also a timeline split? Because I feel like now, where the two timelines kind of overlapped a little bit, or they were quite close together, so it was easy to peek into one and the other and sort of get a sense of the other side's point of view. Now there's just like a complete splitting away. So we don't speak the same language anymore. There's no way that we can see eye to eye. So I do encourage you to just, let it go. Because the most important thing right now is your own vibration, to keep that high, because you need to be able to walk this high timeline. And you can't do that while you're being pulled into a low vibration, number one. Um, Number two, what I forgot what number two was. Sorry about that, but my mind is just like the cogs are moving. Anyway, the other thing that I saw happening this week is that a lot of old memories came up for a lot of us. And that's also part of the timelines moving away, because we need to let go of the old experiences, the people in our life that no longer resonates with us, the old memories that we may still look fondly back on, or, a little bit of a sense of loss, or, those kind of things, because that goes sort of with the old timeline and with your old life. And if you want to move forward into a new timeline, and you want to sort of move forward without any baggage, without any sorrow, without any loss, you need to let go of those old things. And that's why they're coming up. They're coming up for resolution, so that we can acknowledge them and then move on. So don't get dragged into the memories, into the nostalgia of what might come up, or feel sad that there are certain friendships that are no longer in your life, or that you seemingly perhaps don't have any close friends right now. That's all okay. In order to move into new territory, we need to be able to embrace the unknown. And to be able to embrace the unknown, you've got to let go of the old patterns, the old life, the old programming, the old um, ego identifications that we had, the things that formed your construct of your life, the 3D matrix, all of those things you've got to let go, because we can't move into new territory. There's a Buddha saying that says you can't, uh, you, how does it go now? Basically, you can't fill, if your cup is full, you can't receive anything new. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. So if your cup is too full with old memories and old programs and old habits and old ways of doing things and old constructs, you cannot move into the new, and you cannot receive new information, more importantly. So, we are still in this period of rapid growth and transformation. And, it just links right back to the year of the snake, letting go of old skin. Isn't this just exactly what this year is about thus far? And we're only about a quarter in. I say only about a quarter in, but actually, the last 3 months, or 2.5 months, or whatever it is, have just flown past. Like literally, I don't know where the year went, but it has flown past. And the rest of the year is going to be even faster. So just hold on to your hats. But at the same time, it invites us to go within, because there's just going to be a lot of chaos this year, as the truth comes out, as, there may be still people that could move to the side of truth, and I think that is that final kind of splitting that's happening now. People need to make a choice. Do they want to switch on their critical thinking genes and look at a matter with new eyes, with unbiased information and research? Or are they just comfortable, whatever that is that they understand or understand is just the way it is, and they're not open to new information? And there's a kind of a last chance for a few people um, to look into things and decide they want to pursue that path, rather than my mind is made up and I'm not open to anything else, and this is what I believe and that's it. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. Part of one of these social media, I don't want to call it debates or whatever. I mean, I'm never on Facebook, actually. I'm never. And recently I just started thinking maybe I should just spend a little bit more time on Facebook. It could be a useful tool to wake people up, to plant my seeds, and it didn't work out so well. And part of that were actually posts of other people in my old circle that I commented on, trying to blow a little bit of truth and into the matter, because my golly, I don't know, I think it's globally, but particularly in South Africa, people are just so incredibly brainwashed. And I just came to realize that I will never be able to relate to that old circle of, let's call it Facebook friends. They're not friends, but they're kind of in that circle that you used to move into. I'll never be able to relate to them again. It's time to let go. I even had some, religious types telling me that, oh, now they went to have a look at my website and there's all about mysticism and it must be this new age crap, and and I just had to breathe. And firstly, I'm not into new age per se, but just to say, new age has been infiltrated like everything else. As soon as they discover there's too much support for one thing, what do? They infiltrate it and they plant some mistruths in there to derail the whole movement and to, have people question its validity. But anyway, I tried to explain to this guy that actually mysticism, quantum physics are basically the same thing. It's just a different language and a different way of looking at it. And he was saying, oh, there's scientific proof for quantum physics, but not for mysticism. And you just can't argue with people like that. Just, you need to let it go. So I just said, look, I'm not debating with you, no offense, but I'm walking away. And then eventually I just defriended this person because I just, I don't need that in my life. I don't need that kind of friction in my life. I need to keep my vibration strong and I need to focus on my path, and so do you. So anything that's going to derail you from your path, you need to get rid of, okay? Because it's just going to drag you down. It's going to weigh you down. It's going to drag you down. It's going to derail you. It's going to derail your growth. This is the time where you will need to trust your intuition so strongly, and you'll need to make a decision. Because I know some of those people can see seeds of doubt in your mind, and you think maybe I am crazy, maybe I do need to kind of look at other information. And like I said before, you just have to trust your intuition at this point because it's the only thing you can really trust. And there is a big sort of unseen world, and there are certain things that cannot be proven because it's a knowing. You just know it is the truth, and that is your intuition speaking to you. In fact, it's not your intuition speaking to you, it's your higher self speaking to you. And if you're not going to listen to that higher self, you're going to miss, a whole lot of opportunity for growth and expansion. And so, don't let people, it doesn't matter what they think of you, honestly. If they think you're crazy or batshit crazy or whatever, it doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't matter. And it bothered me for a few seconds because, I used to be this person in those circles that was so well respected. I mean, they used to call me, the queen of luxury, and in terms of luxury brands in Southern Africa, I was the go-to person. I was very serious about business, and people came to know me in a certain sense, but also didn't really know the real me. And I was actually having this discussion yesterday with my husband as well. Even with our discussions, there's old people and old memories that started coming up. We were just like reminiscing. Remember those days? Remember the days when I was friends with those people? And he just, at the time, he was kind of ahead of me in his transformation. He couldn't understand why I was entertaining these people and these superficial connections and conversations. And I think at the time, number one, I was really trying to fit in because I never really fitted in. And number two, it was kind of important for my business to network with certain people, to form connections and to socialize with certain people, right? But I said to him, I never really felt like I fitted in. It was just like these superficial conversations that I could only hold for so long. And then I had to step away, like with all the events that I attended and hosted and with, elites and VIP people. Like I would just go there and, do what I need to do for my business. And then I would leave because honestly, I didn't know what to say to those people. Um, I think I got sidetracked, but it's just those memories come up for a reason. It's time now to close that chapter, to let it go. And it doesn't actually matter what those people think of you. They might think that you've completely lost the plot because you used to be this wildly successful person that was well respected, and now you just kind of keep yourself busy with conspiracy theories and all sorts of nonsense, right? In their eyes, I'm sure it's like that, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Our time will come where we will be the leaders of the new earth, um, and that will flip things around completely. What comes to mind is the meek will inherit the earth. So we don't need to, be out there and be this person or prove who we are or have titles or have accomplishments or have awards or whatever. We don't need that stuff, because none of that is going to matter in the new earth. None of it. And in fact, there will be a certain kind of respect for the people that walk this lonely path ahead of others in order to lead the way, in order to help raise the vibration of the entire planet, in order to speak the truth, seek the truth, and stand up for the truth. So our time will come, but it's not that we need to pursue that. It will happen automatically. And yeah, this is the final goodbye, guys. The final goodbye. Wave you goodbye. The old earth is getting more and more sort of in the distance, if you will. And I think the timelines are going to continue to pull away from one another. There may be, who knows, there may be a big scare event in the world that will bring people closer again to one another, and allow for that final window to open for the 3D matrix people to enter into the 5D ascension window. But it may not happen. We don't know exactly what's going to go down. We don't have all the information. We do have a certain knowing. We trust our intuition. We know, we felt like we've done this before, and we kind of know what's going to happen without really knowing what's going to happen, if that makes sense. So we just got to surrender. We don't have to control every moment and every movement. At some point, when you just surrender and you let go, that's when the magic happens. So allow the magic to happen. And in the meantime, just, participate in as much as you can. Like, just really understand what it means to be a sovereign soul. And know that no steps that you take towards your own sovereignty can be wrong. Even, if you follow certain processes or whatever, and for, emancipating yourself, correcting your status. Even if some people say, oh, those are not the right processes, or this or that or the other, or Jasara and Asara is going to happen anyway, so who cares, just like you're wasting your time, or you're even doing harm by removing yourself from the system, because then you can't get access to your birth certificate funds. In fact, the status correction process allows you to claim copyright on your birth certificate and everything to do with your birth. So you actually claim copyright and beneficial ownership, or you become the beneficiary of that trust. Because remember, the state created that trust, so they own the trust, but they become actually the administrators of the trust, and you become the beneficiary of that trust. So just because you remove yourself from the system and you declare your sovereignty, and that you are no longer going to be an employee of the state, which is in essence what we all were as citizens, or are, some of you are. So removing yourself from the artificial corporation masquerading as a government, how can that be wrong? For me, even if I were to waste my time, even if I were to spend hundreds and even thousands of hours researching the subject, and suddenly Jasara is declared and we're all free and we all have access to money, I would still never regret doing that, because you need to understand what it means to be free, what it means to be sovereign, what your rights are. It's just become another sort of victim mentality where you become the backseat passenger in your own life. And, whilst I fully believe in what the White Hats and that military operation is doing, for me, I will never let anyone ever again dictate to me how I live, and I will know exactly what my rights are as a natural woman living on the earth, natural woman of the soil, right? So I'm getting very distracted, but I just wanted to kind of make this point that, becoming sovereign can never be a mistake. And, in case Jasara and Asara does take much longer than anticipated, then I will be thrilled to have been through this process. In any way, I'll be thrilled, because I have the knowledge and I understand what it took to enslave us, and I understand what it took me to unenslave myself, okay, to free myself back to the living soil. And it's more than anything, it's a spiritual transformation that nobody can take away from you, because freedom and sovereignty happens within, not without. Nobody can hand your sovereignty to you on a silver platter. You have to take it. You have to understand what that means. Okay, you have to feel it in your bones. So anyway, we are going to go over a little bit of intel today, so I'm not just going to sit here and preach to you guys. I will go over a little bit of intel, and because I know how much you guys love your intel. So what a week. It's been quite a week of opposite sides attacking one another and the whole world in outrage. But things are moving ahead the way they should be, and as fast as possible. And I fully believe we are part of either speeding that process up or slowing it down. We just sit back and wait We might be slowing it down. If we stand up and we participate, even if we know what the outcome is, things will move faster. So you see how important it is. So I love this little post because that I'm going to share with you now, because Obama's been in the news quite a lot. I would say in the alternative news more so, and it is very clear that something is on the way. Okay, some sort of big exposure is on the way, and I feel like, the pizza and the gate that goes after that, that whole thing is going to be blown apart and blown open. We know that it's linked to the Epstein files. We know that it's part of all those emails that have been captured, White House emails between Hillary and Barack Obama and Podesta and that whole lot, and that information has to surface at some point. And of course, the whole story around his birth certificate and the fact that he's not American as he said he was, and that was even recorded on video of him saying, I wasn't born in America, I was born in Kenya. And it was written up in little newspapers, campus newspapers, where is born. So, and even I shared a post on Telegram. By the way, if you're not on our Telegram channel, make sure you are subscribed. Excellent information shared on a daily basis. I've got Francine from New York that posts in sort of US daylight hours, and then I tend to post in SA South African daylight hours. So there's always something, no matter what time zone you're on, there's always something new on that channel. It's really informative, and we share incredible research and information. Anyway, I did share on there how the whole process of the birth certificate fraud around Obama's birth certificate was come to be, and the original person's birth certificate that was used for that thing, whatever you want to call it. So all of those things are surfacing. There's incredible proof and information that I shared on the channel. If you do want to search a specific subject, just go to the top of the channel where it says Vivid Earth. Click on that, and then there will be a search button where you can search keywords, and then different posts will come up, and you'll see in yellow highlighted the keyword. So I'm sure if you were to search Obama birth certificate, it'll come up. It was shared just this past week. Anyway, there's another story. It's like this person was sharing. Who was sharing this? I'm not sure. Oh, it was Code Monkey Z. And he said, remember the plane crash a few years ago in Hawaii, where the only person who died also happened to be the clerk that verified Obama's birth certificate as real. Wow. Okay. Wow is all I want to say. And then apparently there was a diver who happened to be just behind her and pulled her under. So even if she did want to be saved, that person made sure she wasn't. And then let's not forget the chef, right? The paddleboard saga and the fact that he died, Obama's chef, under very mysterious circumstances. And then let's not forget Kash Patel's tie when he was sworn in. There was a little paddle border on that tie. Yeah, I kid you not. There was another com that he had on his tie a few days or weeks earlier. I forgot what that is. My memory seems to be going now. I seem to just retain certain information. It's part of this timeline split, I guess, where certain memories are just no longer part of your memory bank. They're just gone. Or like people, you can't remember their names anymore. You can see their face right in front of you, but you cannot remember their names. So yeah, strange phenomenon. I also feel like our brains are getting recalibrated a little bit. I had a splitting headache. When was that now? On Thursday. A splitting headache, and I don't get headaches, and I felt some weird stuff moving in my brain. So I'm pretty sure, with all the solar flares coming down and all the light codes, our brains are being adjusted as well. And remember, we are quantum leaping forward from a carbon-based structure to crystalline-based. Now, this is a very slow and subtle process, but it's of such a nature that it can't always be explained, and that's why I bring the word quantum in, because quantum is something. A quantum change can happen in a second, where it's one thing the 1 minute and it's something else in the next minute. That's what quantum is, or can, the ability to change that quantum physics can hold. It's like the same with remote healing, or even, in-person energy healing. There are some people that can heal diseases in a split second, and that disease is gone. I've heard of people that went for scans straight after, and the tumor is gone. So this is what can happen through quantum, I don't want to say technology, but I'd say our own quantum technology, our own abilities to change reality, really. That's what it is. But you have to fully believe it and visualize it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen, because you are the observer that makes it either A or B. You are the observer through your belief. That determines how that object will appear, if it's even there or not. Yeah, that's a whole different subject. Not going to get into that right now, but I tend to get very distracted and pulled into different segues the whole time. Anyway, there was a I want to say tweet. I don't know what to call it. A tweet from Attorney General Andrew Bailey. He said, "Hey China, you owe Missouri $24 billion. I just want a judgment in court. Pay up, or we start seizing assets and farmland." Whoa. So basically, in a groundbreaking legal development, Missouri has been awarded over $24 billion in damages from China in relation to the pandemic, the creation of that little thing. Okay, not going to use the word here, but the CV basically. So this significant ruling follows a lawsuit initiated by former Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt, who alleged that China was responsible for unleashing the V that led to a global crisis. Schmidt's successor, Attorney General Andrew Bailey, has continued the legal battle, leading to this monumental decision. Wow. I don't know who just, glanced over that and not realized the significance of that single move. And there's lots of these little moves that are happening. And you know what? It's like drops of water that become a tsunami. And this tsunami ain't going away. So this is going to be a big one for the masses to see. There's so many examples like this that we've seen, of which I can't even remember half now, but I think you know about them. And the shift is here. Just be patient, guys. I know things are not moving as fast as you'd like it to, but believe me, things are shifting, things are moving. I think one day, when we will be privy to what went on behind the scenes, we will fully understand how things happened, the way they happened, in the timing that happened, why there were delays at some stage, and we will say like, wow, 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 wow. And I was so impatient, and I wasn't aware of any of this, all the complications behind the scenes that went down. And if only had a little bit more patience. And in any event, you don't need anything outside of you to make you happy and content. You don't need all of this to be exposed, even for you to be happy and content. Just remember that. And the moment you let go of the expectations and the need to control and the need for certain things to happen in a certain way, the more unhappy you will be. So just let it go. Understand that there's a much bigger scheme of things. There will be justice, but perhaps not in the timing or the way that you want it to be. So you've got to be patient, and you've got to go within, because that's where the gold is. That's where the real disclosure is, as I said last time. And I'm interviewing an interesting lady, a psychic, with psionic powers, and very, very interesting. And she so resonated with this message that I'm going to be having her on the channel next week. I think her name is Paula Davis. Um, and I forgot what I was saying. But it's about the disclosures really within, because if we realize what has been kept hidden from us for so long, and that we were pursuing all these outside changes, not looking at the changes that we can affect within, we're going to say like, damn, why didn't I just do something? Why didn't I just listen and, gone within to discover my own inner technology instead of waiting for other people outside of me to disclose them? Because, we have to unlock these inner powers. Nobody else is going to do it for us. It's not going to happen in an instant. We have to do the work. And it takes discipline and it takes training. And you've got to train your mind to get there. And it's not overnight. So make sure you do some form of training of your mind on a daily basis. So it becomes a habit. And it becomes a constant evolutionary process. Because that's how you are going to be unlocking your own superpowers. And if you want to be one of the ones that lead this new earth, you have to make time for that. Otherwise, you're not going to be ready. It's as simple as that. You're not going to be ready to lead the new earth if you don't make the time for yourself, if you don't go within and you don't train your mind to unlock those superpowers within, because they ain't going to unlock themselves. Okay, we might get a little bit of help, but it's so important for us to be disciplined and work on that ourselves every single day. So what else? There was something around March 20 deadline, or it's over permanently. Okay, this was another post. Let me see. So it's about, there was a Q post in March 21st, 2018 that said, panic mode, enjoy the show. Okay, where's my cursor now? It's gone. Okay, let me just close this. And then, I didn't actually see this, but there was something on HBO, a show that read Q Into the Storm, the official trailer. That was interesting. So who knows? We might be in for a little bit of action around the 20th, 21st. And there was also a 60-day executive order that aligns with the Constitution, giving Trump 60 days control of the military to flip and to flip the competition. I'm going to use that code word from the January 20 inauguration. That was in 2021. So this could be the delta, the year that things are kind of exploding in a big way. Will it happen? I don't know. But I'm going to be watching, that's for sure. So we're moving into very intense energies, guys. There are, as I said, a full moon coming. We are entering eclipse season. Venus is in retrograde. I think Mercury is now in retrograde. So these things are like, oh, damn, this is going to be like a fun ride. But actually, it's so necessary, right? Because these planetary alignments have to trigger things within us that will invite us to release them forever, because we need to, like I said, we can't move into a new era with old baggage, with old patterns, with old connections, with old memories. Gotta let it go, gotta make room for the new. So I think this eclipse season is really going to be working on that as well, helping us let go of those old ways of being forever. Life's never going to be the same again, but we have to let the old go, surrender to the new. That's what I said, remember? So let's not forget that. In the meantime, Doge is doing his thing. And I think I have a feeling a lot of the money laundering will be exposed very soon because they are tracking all of the payments that went anywhere and everywhere. Remember, and I don't believe this is now the first time they are acquiring this information. It's just a public show to show people that they are looking for the information. Okay. Um, you had obviously Trump's speech in front of Congress this week, which for a lot of people seemed like a bit of a nothing burger, but I think it was a very important one to have happened because it just showed really the immaturity of the Democrats and what they really stand for. That they can't even stand and clap for a 13-year-old boy who's overcome cancer, or victims of migrants that were brutally murdered. You know, the simplest, most human thing that one can even do, they couldn't even get themselves to do. So this was a big way to out these people. And I know that there are a lot of people that still don't even see that, but they've got selective, their attention is very selective, so they will not be able to see certain things because they've already decided which way they want to go. But I do believe some of these money laundering operations will be coming out very soon. You heard that the judge struck down a request or attempt to cancel the credit cards for a lot of these senators. So what happened now? I'm hot, sorry. This is my fan from Thailand. Anyway, so what they then did is that, okay, you don't want us to cancel the credit cards of the senators? We're going to make the spending limit $1. Oh goodness, they're just always one step ahead, aren't they? So I mean, they know what's going to happen. This is 5D chess, and you know the way that they know things that are going to happen, and that they're so good at being one step ahead, because they have a quantum computer to look at all potential outcomes. This is not your ordinary supercomputer. This is a quantum computer. I don't think the cabal has access to something like that. So that is why the whiteheads are always one step ahead. But anyway, so, you know, with all this Bitcoin reserves that Trump is talking about, and people like wondering, what's going on here? And then the thought came to me that we know that Bitcoin was used to launder a lot of money, right? That was the dark web payment platform, if you will, the payment platform of choice. So the dark web was, they used this, you know, for the trafficking, for the drugs, even for the whole Ukraine money laundering effort. I was careful with my words here on this platform. Okay. So sorry, somebody's distracting me outside the window. So if they used Bitcoin to hide these transactions through Executive Order 13818, okay, which means the property of people found guilty of crimes against humanity will be confiscated. So does that mean all the Bitcoin that they own can be confiscated? Well, I would think yes. Did those perhaps go into the reserves of the US? Is that what's going to pay for all the debt? Also, the debt clock has shown some very interesting things of late. Basically, systematically, all of the debt is being removed from the debt clock, or, you know, from the US. And they're actually showing now a surplus and what will be paid out, and what could potentially be paid out to every single citizen. I don't like that word, but for lack of a better word, in the US. And it's something like almost $500,000 that every single citizen will get once, you know, all of the waste is cut out and the debt is removed. I may not use all the right words here, but I'll try and pull the post up so I can be a little bit more exact. But that is just mind blowing. Now, what have I always said to you? There is an abundance of wealth on this planet. Okay, they just made us believe that there isn't. They made us believe in the scarcity model, the fact that there isn't enough for everyone, and that some people will always suffer because there isn't enough for everyone, and that's also part of the motivation for the depopulation plan that they've had, right? Um, but all of these plans are coming to an end. We are going to see that there is a wealth of abundance on this planet, and I have a feeling we will know that this year. So the good news is we will know that this year, and things are going to start shifting this year. It may be very soon, guys, but if it's not, we're not going to be upset because we know what the end game is. So we just have to adjust how we live. If you're struggling with money, what are the things that you can let go of? What are the things that you don't no longer need? I know some people say, but there's nothing, I can't even feed my family. There's always things that you can get rid of. We don't need all the stuff. Sell all your stuff. I interviewed someone this week that told me she sold everything on auction to exit the matrix. So, what are the fears that are holding you back from doing what you need to do to exit the matrix and to free yourself from the pressure that keeps you trapped in the matrix? It's like a vicious cycle, right? The pressure and then the fear, and then you can't exit the matrix, so you remain. You can't feed your family, and it's just like a vicious circle. I can't tell you what to do or how to do it, but you got to figure it out yourself if you are trapped in that vicious cycle, because we don't know, when the redistribution of wealth is going to be. We simply do not know. It could be very soon, but if it's not, we're not counting on that. If it never happens, we're also not counting on it, because our happiness doesn't depend on somebody else giving us anything, including money. That said, I do believe it is coming. So I'm just quietly, I'm not, I have no expectations. I just have a knowing, an inner knowing, and I'm content with that. I'm not going to hold people against get dates or watch these shows that talk about the RV and always say it's next Tuesday. Oh, it's going to happen next Tuesday. Who cares? It will happen when it will happen. Okay. When the time is right, I'm sure they will make it happen as soon as they bloody well can, because they know people are suffering. But it's more complicated than we can understand. So we have to be patient, and we have to not have expectations, and just, relax and surrender and do what we need to do in the meantime. So anyway, so you know that there's obviously a lot of insider trading also happening through these corrupt senators, and most of them are Democrats, but not all. There are some Republicans as well. They've mostly embedded themselves in the Democrat Party. So I don't want to talk about really blue versus red or this side versus that side, because it is rampant all over. But typically more so in the Democrats. And there's a lot of insider trading that's happened. What's going to happen to that? Because by them making all that money from insider trading, there's somebody else that's suffering, that has suffered because of what you've done. It's always cause and effect. You can't take that away. There's nothing that happens that doesn't have an effect. You want that effect to be good, you want it to be bad. Choice is yours. But let me just say, karma never loses an address, okay? Karma will come for you if you did something bad. But you can redeem yourself, because none of us are perfect, and none of us are without human flaws. We shall put it that way. I hate when they use the word sin, because it's like you're born a sinner. Like, that is just such a depressing way to look at life. I'm sorry, religious indoctrination to keep us limited. Okay, and it keeps us from understanding how powerful we are. It will always disempower you when you believe that you are a sinner and you need somebody else to come and save you, basically. There's somebody else that can show you the way, that can show you the example of what you could be, i.e., Christ consciousness, that beautiful man, Yeshua, who showed us what is possible. But he himself said, "Don't worship me, I'm not a God." And yet, there are millions and millions and billions of Christians worldwide that worship him like he's a God, because he is their God. Anyway, I'm getting so distracted with so many different subjects today, guys. But sometimes it just flows. Anyway, I'm going back to the money laundering and the insider trading. So, they obviously send all these billions, like now it's over 350 billion that the US sent to Ukraine. And then there's so many different substructures that they can use, these supplies and that and that and that. And then it gets funneled through Bitcoin back to them in the US, and then the insider trading. It's like a dark, evil web of lies. And they have just raped and pillaged the people for decades. I would say longer, but let's just call it decades. And how can they think there are going to be no consequences? And I want to say again, the meek shall inherit the earth. What is the meek? The meek are the people that haven't sold their souls, that don't need celebrity status. They just want to live their life in peace and harmony, and they want to love others, and they want to live with compassion, and they want to see the end of all suffering. That is the meek. And the meek indeed shall inherit the earth. And I know I'm quoting a Bible verse here, but there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. I'm not saying it's all BS, but unfortunately it has been infiltrated like so many other things in so many other religions and spiritual paths, that we have to understand, the truths are kind of few and far between, and you've got to really look for them. Even I realize now, even in the Buddhist philosophy, which is not really, people say it's a religion. It's not a religion. It's just a philosophy. It's a way of life. Even that has been infiltrated. We went to the Far East, and people were literally, there are temples like everywhere. In Thailand, there's like the biggest attraction. Every city is like a temple, and there are like 10 temples in a space of 5 kilometers in certain cities. And when you go inside, people are just praying to a gold statue of Buddha, thinking he's going to save them. And that is just so sad, because Buddha never wanted that. Buddha wanted to show them the Buddha within. They are the fractal of God, right? He's not their God, and he never wanted to be their God, just like Yeshua and many others. So people have become so disempowered, and so they have such a lack of confidence, actually, and sometimes that is shown through too much confidence, because that is actually a show of a lack of confidence. So they overcompensate, and they have this, bravado and this ego, because they just want to so much to be accepted and to be loved. And the whole world is suffering from a lack of love. You tell people, you talk to people about love, and they just look at you like weird. My husband was telling me the story about this woman in one of the cafes, local cafes. He often buys smoothies there for us, and he came there, and she was just like going on about the dogs, they're so cruel to the dogs, and she was just like enraged and angry, and I'm not doubting the cause for her anger, but then he asked the question, but what about love? And he started speaking to her about love, and she was like, huh? That doesn't fit into my narrative. I'm angry. And eventually she ran away. She couldn't face it. She couldn't face somebody just speaking about love and loving kindness to others. And, it made me realize that people are just so traumatized, they don't even know that they have no love. It's sad. And love is the the key to 5D, to the new earth, to the golden age. We ain't going to enter the golden age without it. That is the golden key. That is the ark of the covenant. Love. Okay? Big secret revealed, in case you didn't know. Because it's only that vibration that will allow us to actually live in a different frequency where pain and suffering is no more. So love is the key. There's no shortcuts. You can't make a copy of the key and pretend it's the key. The key is love and nothing else. And it's not puppy love or romantic love. It's a state of being where you exude compassion, kindness, loving kindness, as Buddha would call it. And that is the key to higher realms. So remember that. We all get triggered. We all get pulled into things. But just decide for yourself to choose love. Like our friend Ben Palmer would say, choose love in every moment. Like if something comes up, oh, no, I'm choosing love, sorry. And that's automatically going to spur or springboard you forward into the golden age eventually, when it becomes an everyday state of being, okay? That's as simple as it is. So guys, I'm just seeing the time. I have to start wrapping. I'm going to wrap with this. There's a lot more that I could cover, but I chose to be distracted and be led into different segues that I thought was necessary for you guys to also hear today. So, but this post I really enjoyed by MT News. Syrian central bank van tips over on Damascus highway, scattering thousands of bulls. Crowd offers to help clean up the mess. And they're just picking up bulls. I wonder if they put it back in the van. Is that like paper money? Just like maybe a signal central banks are falling soon? I certainly hope so. So I'm going to end with that. Now, what I said earlier about the fact that mysticism is, in fact, science. This may be a good... Sorry, let me... No. I have to pause this video. Why does this video... Okay, guys, I'm... Apologize. I wanted to play this video, but I needed to screen share. And this video just plays without me. I can't stop it. I'm going to play it again. Listen to the audio. Oh, now it stops. Telegram, not a perfect platform by no means. Simulation, and there are rules to the game, and this is how you hack those rules. People that don't believe in manifestation, they obviously haven't done it right or done it long enough, because it's literally rules. And once you understand the quantum physics of it, like when Nikola Tesla was studying and all his work was around, it no longer seems like woo-woo or magic. It seems like science that we're not taught in school. We are electromagnetic beings. The air is not air. Ether. Electromagnetic currents go through the air. This is how your cell phone receives a signal. This is how the radio works. When you tune to a certain channel on the radio, you pick up a specific station. When you tune your body to a specific frequency, you get a certain result. Everything is vibrating. Everything is frequency. The only difference between water, ice, steam is the vibration. All the different rocks that are out there, they're all made of the same organic material, but why are they different? A different vibrational frequency. Water is a very powerful conductor of electricity. And on a cellular level, we are 99.9% water. Are you following me here, guys? Because the math is math. Humans are vibrating at a certain frequency at all times, but that's always changing. And if you're vibrating at a high frequency, you're operating out of love and gratitude, and everything's good. Life is wonderful, and all good is being attracted to you. You're not operating out of want or need, greed, or lust, or whatever. Humans have an 8-foot energy field around them, okay, from their vibrational frequency that they're vibrating at, that people can feel. People call this the aura. It's when you're around certain people, you feel good, or you can tell if someone's in a bad mood before they even speak, or your dog barks at a stranger because there's a bad vibe. We all know that feeling. We've just been around someone and it's a bad vibe. And when you're around your best friend, you know that feeling. It's good vibes. Your vibrational frequencies are enhancing each other. This is why dogs and horses have a special bond with humans, more so than any other animal. It's because those animals are more in tune with humans' vibrational frequencies. This is why you can speak to a horse or a dog when you obviously don't speak the same language. You speak through emotion. The dog knows when you're happy. The dog knows when you're sad. Vibrational frequencies are everything. And there are practices that you can do to
turn the game in your favor by bending these rules. Your subconscious mind feeds your conscious mind, and your conscious mind produces thoughts mixed with your feeling, and that creates your vibrational frequency. So what most people need to do is go in and reprogram their subconscious mind. But there's only 2 times a day that gate is open and then you got access to it. It's when your brain is in a theta state, first thing after you wake up and right before you go to sleep, and then the entire time you are sleeping as well. So in those 2 windows of opportunity is when you need to manifest. And look, people feel however they want to feel about meditating. Meditating is just a way to enhance what you want to manifest. It's not necessary, it's just highly effective. You have to feel your desired outcome to be a reality. Play it like a movie in your mind these 2 times of the day. Play your desired reality like it is real, and you have to feel it. Feeling is the secret. How does the air feel on your skin? How does the drink that you're drinking? How does your feet feel on the ground or in the sand or whatever? How does it...
Okay, not going to play the whole video because it's a bit long, but you get my gist. Why I said in the beginning, you choose your own timeline. This is what I mean. The way, the energy, the vibration that you emit in every moment determines your timeline. Makes sense, right? So, therefore, protect your timeline. Be very, very careful what you lend your ears to and your eyes to. Okay? It doesn't mean we can't look at darkness, but we have to do it with a sense of neutrality, and we've got to be able to pull ourselves out of it and then focus on what we do want to manifest. So, that is just it. That's just, we bring the dark into the light, and then we focus on building more light. So that's how we're going to do this, guys. So that's just a reminder to keep your vibration high, and to don't let anyone pull it down, because we are on track and on time, and nothing can stop what's coming. So on that note, I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to give you my biggest blessings for the day and wish you all a lot of love and light. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.